it's Deborah, and I thought I would do a crafting with a capital C video today. And I thought I would share with you some of my rocks and crystals from my collection. The first thing I'll say is I am recovering from COVID. My luck finally ran out, and I got COVID about a week and a half ago. Luckily, I wasn't incredibly ill. I had the severe headaches and the body aches and the high fevers, but no respiratory involvement. And other than just being really tired now, I feel mostly better. The antivirals were the way to go, although they did do a number on my stomach. So I've been taking probiotics to kind of get my stomach health back in order. But I still am blowing my nose and coughing, but I think that's mostly from allergies because we are in prime allergy season here in the fall in the Ozarks. The second thing I will say is I am not an expert on rocks and crystals. I am an enthusiastic learner and try to find the best resources I can. So what I'm sharing with you is my knowledge, my somewhat limited knowledge. Now, I do understand the science of a lot of these crystals, but my knowledge as far as how they're used, I'm going to tell you how I personally use them. I do want to talk a little bit about the ethics of crystals, which is a difficult conversation and certainly not one that I'm an expert on either. I'm just going to give you my perspective on it and give you a few tips about buyer beware type situations. And then just show you some of my crystal collection and kind of how I put them to work. So, and I'll share with you some resources that I like to use that I recommend. And we'll just have a good time looking at rocks and crystals. How does that sound? Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about a little bit is the ethics of owning crystals, and that is a difficult and big conversation and one that I am not an expert in, but I tend to follow the rules and ideas of Cat Borealis, who is Cat Borealis on Instagram, and they have a podcast. They haven't done episodes in a while, but you can go listen to their back catalog. And it's really, really good. Also, the Scientific Witch podcast has some good information about rocks and crystals. And also Nicholas Pearson, who is the Luminous Pearl on Instagram. They address these topics pretty much head on. Kat is a geologist, works in the mining industry, and has an interesting perspective on this. So here is my take on this. You know, there's a lot of conversation about ethical crystal consumption. And I try to be, as we've talked about sage, white sage before, where I don't use white sage anymore because I feel ethically it takes away from the indigenous American peoples who use it in their practice. And so I will use my sage that I grow in my garden. Sage is sage. Basil is another good one. We've talked about that before. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So that is a choice that I make. But ethical crystal consumption, the only way you can be for sure of the provenance of a crystal is if you go dig it up out of the ground yourself. And even then, you are very often going to a strip mining area that is an open pit mine to dig crystals. So it's almost impossible to be 100% ethically pure when it comes to crystals. Now, what I prefer is the conversation that Cat Borealis and Nicholas Pearson have about mindful or conscious use of these crystals, being aware of their provenance and deciding if that is something that you're okay with. An example would be Larimar. Larimar is a stone that is often used for people who do particularly angelic healing practices. It is an angelic healing stone. It comes from one mine in the Dominican Republic, one place. That mine, for a lot of years, was pretty poorly run and not safe. Now, no mines are safe. I mean, let's just be honest. Even the most upscale mine is not a safe place to work. It can be safer, but you are under the ground and things happen. So, you know, You can make the conditions safer and you can be better to your employees than what was happening in that mine. And the government took it over and tried to improve conditions. Now, there was an accident at that mine and it shut down for a period of time. I believe it is back open now. The other thing is people question, who is digging these crystals? Are these people being paid fairly? Is it child labor? And in a lot of cases, the answer to that is, according to our standards, no, they're not being paid fairly. And are children working in these mines? Very often young people are working in these mines. That, you have to decide where you sit with that. Then the flip side of that is the Larimar mine is one of the largest economic exports for the Dominican Republic. It is a huge economic boon for them, for a country that is not well off financially. I will say that a lot of the companies now try to work with the local population to help bring money back into the area. Some of the profits from the mining are brought back into the area to try to improve these people's quality of life. So, where do you fall on that spectrum? I don't know. You have to make your own decisions. So my thought is be aware, understand where it's coming from, and then you have to decide for yourself if that is something that you're okay with. I know people who prefer not to work with rocks and crystals at all because they don't feel like they can justify that. And then there are other people who do. I choose to be one of the people who does work with them. I try to be aware. I try to buy from people who can tell me the provenance of where the crystals came from. But unless they are a crystal I dug up myself, like this one, this quartz crystal that I dug up myself, even that came from an open pit mine. So there is no, unless you buy a lab grown crystal, there is no ethical high road that you can stand on. And if you're buying crystals and go, oh, well, you can just be as mindful and as conscious of your consumption. And then you have to make the decisions for yourself of what you are okay doing and what you feel like is your safe place to land on these. So I just wanted to say that because it is a pretty hot conversation out there. One of the things you can do is just use rocks from your local area. I mean, there is nothing that says you can't go out on a hike and pick up a rock and that is just as useful to you in a magical sense as the most expensive crystal you could buy, from anywhere, because man, it's all about intention. It's nice to have the things, but intention is everything, right? So I wanted to say a little bit about that. The other thing that I want to talk about is be very aware of, I don't want to say scams, but there are things like Super 7 or, I can't remember. It's something 23. It's some kind of something 23. And they claim that it has 7 different minerals in it or 23 different minerals in it. And it's a trademarked name. And chemically, it is exactly the same as other crystals that are not nearly as expensive. It very unlikely that it has even 7 minerals in it, much less 23. It may have 2 or 3 or 4. But there is no way to verify that by looking at the crystal. So just, understand that when you buy a trademarked name thing, like even selenite, I have a piece right here. Selenite is a marketing name, right? It's a marketing name that someone came up with. This is gypsum. And, it happens to be in a certain configuration, but someone came up with the name selenite and charge more for it. Now, in some cases, it's a little bit more. In some cases, they try to charge 100 times more than the same rocks without the trademark name. So just be aware. Do your homework, I guess is what I'm saying, is try to do your homework. Try to buy from reputable dealers. Ask questions. And then make your decisions. So just, buyer beware when it comes to the crystal, business, because, people will sell things that are not what they say they are. maybe on purpose they do this, or maybe by accident, but either which way, they are not the thing that they say they are. You know, buying crystals, you know, from certain or certain big companies, sometimes you're going to get not what the crystal says it is. Sometimes you're going to get fakes. You know, there are some resources online that can help you judge those. One of the ones I like to watch is Cold Brew Barbie on YouTube. She has a company called Cold Brew Crystals, and she orders crystals from these big online sellers that are super cheap and test them. And sometimes they're real and sometimes they're not. You know, sometimes they're real because sometimes they come from countries that are huge and have lots of natural resources. And, you know, these crystals are the cast off from a commercial mine, so they're not that expensive. Sometimes they're fakes. So just, you know, you'll start to learn that there are certain things that get faked a lot. Like malachite is one that gets faked a lot. If you find a crystal that you know is pretty rare, like Larimar, and it is super cheap, be suspicious of that. You know, and kind of learn some of the properties of the crystal so that you can look at them and tell by inspection of them. Usually when you go to a gem show or a mineral show or a metaphysical fair or a shop, those crystals are going to be legit. But not always. I mean, sometimes they get you know, taken advantage of too, and then get sold something that they don't know that's not the real thing. But at any rate, so that's my cautionary tale for you. Now let's talk about some of my crystals. Okay, so what I thought I would do is I'm going to show you crystals that are not jewelry. I have a lot of gemstone jewelry and crystal jewelry that I call it lapidary jewelry because it's not things like diamonds and rubies and all that stuff. It is things like jaspers and agates and prehnite and stuff like that. I'm not going to show you that today. If y'all are interested in seeing some of those things, I can show you those pieces in another video. But what I want to focus on today are things that are specifically I use as the crystals themselves or the rocks themselves. And I'll tell you a little bit about them. The first resource I will share with you this is Crystal Basics. This is a very good intro book. This is by Nicholas Pearson, who is a friend of mine. It's the Luminous Pearl on Instagram. He offers, if you follow him on Instagram, he does a lot of live Q&A sessions. He offers classes. He's very knowledgeable, and his books are very readable. And this book is a great intro book. Now, there is a small version of this book, a pocket guide, that is also Crystal Basics. It does not have a lot of the scientific information in it, but this actually has more examples of stones in it because he has more of the stones that you would find local to where I am, like chert and things like that are not necessarily thought of as crystals, but they do have great metaphysical properties. So either one of these books you can get from him on I think he has an Etsy shop, and he also has a website. But if you just follow him on Instagram, the Luminous Pearl, you can find his books. So these are two great beginner. If you're looking for an entry level resource, this book, I highly recommend it because it's got the science of crystals. Talks about crystal systems. It talks about some of the elements, and then it goes into how to build a collection, and it gives a lot of the same information that I talked about, except in more detail, about buyer beware and provenance of the crystals. And then, you know, the how to kind of build your kit and the things you can use to cleanse them and how you can use them. He talks about crystal gridding and all of that in here. So getting to know your crystals is a great section. It kind of gives you tools on how to get to work with the crystals, and then how to make elixirs and things like that. So highly recommend this book for you, and this one to kind of carry as a field guide if you want to carry this with you when you go to a show or something like that to look things up. So that's my first resource I will share with you today. So okay, so where to start? Let's see. Let us start with my good Arkansas quartz here. So I as you know, live in the Arkansas Ozarks. Well, in the Ouachitas, we have a quartz crystal vein here. It's sometimes called rock crystal. It's sometimes called clear quartz. But at any rate, it is good old Arkansas quartz. And there are only 2 places in the world where you can get crystal of the clarity that Arkansas produces. So these are examples that I recently dug up from the Twin Creek mine in Mount Ida, Arkansas. Joel and I went down there on an incredibly hot day to dig crystals, but we did find these beautiful examples of crystals. So quartz crystal, clear quartz, the thing that's wonderful about it is because it is clear, it is useful in a lot of different applications. It is basically silicon dioxide, okay? A lot of things we're going to talk about are silicon-based. It is a trigonal lattice or trigonal crystal system, which means it's multiples of 3. So quartz actually forms hexagonal structures, and that's what gives it these distinctive points that you can see here, okay? So clear Arkansas quartz is called out by name in a lot of crystal books. It is really a good energy amplifier. It's good to amplify whatever work you're doing. It is a master healer. A lot of people consider it to be a master healing crystal. And it is just great for energy focus. It provides a great balance. It activates all the chakras. If you work with chakras or you work with Reiki, it's really good for that. So clear Arkansas quartz is sort of the thing that I have by far the most of because I dig a lot of it up. And a lot of my working tools have Arkansas quartz crystal points in them. So they can get significantly larger than this. For example, I mean, this is not even big compared to some pieces, but this is a piece that I dug up at the Wegner mine several years ago. So you can see it there, how beautiful that is. So there is a book that is kind of hard to come by anymore, but it is called Crystal Messengers. And I thought I had my copy right here, but I don't. Crystal Messengers. Oh, I do. Is that it? I'm trying to not knock you over. Crystal Messengers by Julie Kincaid. Okay. This book is available on their Etsy shop, Crystal Scene, S-E-E-N. Okay. Crystal Scene. And she is passed, unfortunately, but she did a divination system with crystals. And she looked at the structure of the crystals and used the shape of the crystals as a divination tool. So now, even though they are hexagonal in general, there are different shapes that come. Like some of them are more flat, which can be called a tabby crystal or a tabular crystal. There's celestial crystals. There's Lemurian seed crystals that are all part of the quartz crystal family, and it has to do with the shapes of them. So this book and the divination cards that go with it are still available on their Etsy shop as of the last time I checked, which was about a month or so ago. Excuse me. So you can find that, and if you want to learn a little bit more specifically about clear quartz, this is a great resource. Okay, so now the next one that I will show you is another one that is fairly easy to come by, and that is amethyst. So I have amethyst in a couple of different forms. I have it, my very first pendulum that I ever bought, which is 25 years old, is an amethyst crystal. Okay. So that's my very, very, very first pendulum. I need a new chain on it because this one's getting old and rusty. But it's also sometimes found in geode form, so you can find it in this form as well. So these are both amethyst geodes. You can see the different color there. These are both from Brazil. Okay, and you can see there it's also got the crystal points on it. They're just on this matrix, on the geode matrix where they grew on this substrate here. So amethyst is a good all-purpose crystal. So let me hold this one up where you can see it. Amethyst is harder than clear quartz. It is also the same general chemical base, silicon dioxide, but it has iron in it, which is what gives it the color. It's good for the third eye and the crown chakra because of its purple color. It is helpful for anxiety and stress and conquering bad habits. It bridges the mental and spiritual realm. So if you're working on that, to listen to your inner voice, your inner guides. And it is great for enhancing your meditation or lucid dreaming. And it highlights our limitations. So when you work with amethyst, those are some of the properties, metaphysical properties that it's considered to have. So there is amethyst. Now, do you have to believe in all this metaphysical stuff to have a crystal collection? Absolutely not. I choose to believe it, right? I don't have the scientific evidence for it, but if it's something that helps me to remember that property when I'm meditating or whatever, then it does kind of work that way, right? So, you know, I believe in the woo factor. A lot of people don't, but I do. So, okay, the next thing that I will show you is two things that are somewhat related. Let me pull one of them out of here. Okay. That is celestite or celestite and angelite. These are the same mineral. This just happens to be in crystalline form, and this is in amorphous form. Neither one of these need to be put in water. They are an anhydride, and if they get exposed to water, they will reconstitute into gypsum or whatever. So this angelite is a stone that I started learning about as I started working on my angelic healing practice, and so is celestite. Okay, so let's tell you a little bit about these types of stones. So celestite is it actually is strontium, sulfur, and oxygen. Okay, and it is a sedimentary rock, and it's good for the third eye, throat, and crown chakra. It invites peace, hope, and stillness. It helps overcome things like illness or injury. It is excellent for releasing attachments to the auras and chakras, and it engenders grace and it facilitates angelic contact. So that is celestite, and let's see if there's anything different about angelite. So angelite is also the same sort of chemical formula, and it readily absorbs water, so it can be useful for water work. But if you put it in water, you're not going to have angelite anymore. Okay. It bolsters confidence and communication and eases insecurity. It is good for making contact with the angelic realm, and it awakens the third eye chakra and deepens one's intuitive and psychic faculties, such as clairvoyance. And it can help you cultivate a greater sense of belonging. So that is angelite. I think it's a beautiful color. This is celestite, its cousin, if you want to think of it that way. And they are related chemically. So this one is a celestite. It's still on some of the matrix here. And then, again, this is just a tumbled piece of angelite here. So, okay. The next one that I will show you, this is not different than, this is also clear quartz. It just happens to be coated with titanium. So it has the same chemical properties and the same, to me, the same metaphysical properties as the regular clear quartz, but sometimes this is called aura quartz. And the colors can give it, you know, different, working with different energies, because now it's got these purple and blue colors. You can also get it coated with reds. So just know that this is not how it came out of the ground. This has been coated chemically with titanium to get this coloring. So when you see it sold as aura quartz, that means it's been modified, and that's fine. I mean, does that make it less valuable to you? That's up to you. It's pretty. It has its place, and so I try not to dismiss anything out of hand. Okay, the next thing that I will show you is, these are the same stone, as well. This is Amazonite. So this is an Amazonite tower. And then this is an Amazonite tumble. Okay. So Amazonite is potassium, aluminum, silicon, and oxygen with a little bit of lead. This does not need to be put in water because it can leach the lead out of it if you put it in water. So if you're going to make elixirs, it needs to be done by what's called the indirect method. So don't put this in water either. It is good for psychosomatic conditions, especially those that are stress-related. It strengthens the throat chakra, and it encourages communication and helps resolve conflict. It resolves feelings of unfulfillment from striving for societal or familiar expectations rather than seeking your own personal freedom. And it helps us to live outside the box and encourage harmony among different groups of people and cultures. So, this is also another angelic stone as well. You can use this if you do any kind of angelic work. But this is Amazonite. So, there it is. So, that's one of my Amazonite towers. Okay. The next one that I will show you is another pretty easy one to find, and that is fluorite. Now, fluorite can come in different colors. I'm not going to go into all the different colors that it comes in. That I like rainbow fluorite. That's my particular favorite, okay? But you can get green fluorite, you can get yellow fluorite. It is a calcium and a fluorine. You're probably familiar with fluorite being this multicolored thing. This palm stone is very dark, but if you hold it up to the light, you can see the colors in it. I need a light behind it so you can see it. So this is fluorite, okay? So fluorite is really good for the third eye and the crown chakra, but it's good for all. It's stabilizing and balancing. It helps overcome narrow-minded thinking and helps you work outside your comfort zone. And rainbow fluorite is especially expansive and helps you explore the full range of human emotion and opens you to the possibilities of new ideas, thoughts, and dreams. It promotes creativity and innovation. And it can be used to boost intuition and enhance meditation. And it is good for assimilation of new energies, particularly after a healing session, like with Reiki or angelic healing. It's good to use that afterward. Now, how do you use this? Some people I just usually lay the stones on myself, or I'll hold them, or I'll meditate while looking at them, or whatever. Your mileage may vary. You have to figure out your practice for these stones. But this is rainbow fluorite. There. Okay, so sorry I'm coughing. I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to get over COVID here. Okay. Now, the next one that I will show you is garnet. Now, it may not be a garnet that you're familiar with, how it looks, but it is, this is a tumbled raw garnet. This is a red garnet, and it is a form of silicon tetraoxide with different contaminants basically in it to give it the different colors. But this is a red garnet, and it is good for counteracting feelings of isolation. It enhances mental acuity and efficiency, and it evokes passion, creativity, and sensuality. And it's good for root chakra work because of the red coloring. Okay, and it is very grounding, and because it does the root structure, the root chakra, it helps us overcome worry, stress, anxiety, and fear. So this is a garnet tumble, of raw garnet, a garnet tumble. So, yeah, there's that one. Now, the next one that I will show you, let me see if it's in here. I haven't looked to see if this one's in here. Is turquoise. Now, turquoise is a very unstable stone in the sense that it falls apart if it's not stabilized. And this is one that has been made into a pendant, but there is the raw tumble. It is got copper, aluminum, and phosphorus, oxygen, and hydrogen in it. It's got a very complicated chemical formula. But turquoise needs to be stabilized in order to use it for jewelry a lot of times. So turquoise is an excellent all-around healing stone. It promotes integrity and honesty. It facilitates clear, concise communication with this emphasis on speaking the truth. It appeals to spiritual seekers and is protective and wise, and enables one to see the big picture and strive toward wholeness. It's also been worn for luck and protection for centuries. And this is actually a piece of turquoise that my uncle gave me when I was 12 years old. And I actually have a big turquoise rock, but because it was never stabilized, it's been falling apart over the years. So now what I have is a bag of smaller pieces of turquoise. But this is a piece of turquoise from Arizona. Okay. Now, the next one that I will show you is also another one that's pretty easy to come by, and that is calcite. Calcite is a very useful stone for a lot of different applications. And I have a piece of blue calcite. Now, calcite feels and looks waxy. So when you look at stones in a shop, it should have kind of this waxy, shiny appearance to it. That's the tell that it's calcite. So this is a piece of blue calcite. I don't have any other colors right now. But this is a piece of blue calcite. And it is good for all chakras, but blue is especially good for the throat chakra. Blue is the most calming calcite and serene. It counteracts anxiety and nervous tension and improves confidence. It dismantles ingrained judgment while promoting discernment and clarity, and improves psychic and intuitive skills. So, yeah, so I've got a nice big piece of blue calcite there. This I got from the Wegner's Crystal Mine shop. I don't remember what country it's from. I think Brazil. Okay. Now, another stone that I have recently gotten interested in is prehnite. And prehnite is sometimes called the healer stone. It's used by people who do healing work. So I've got a couple of different types of prehnite here. This is its raw, what's called its botryoidal form. It makes these little bubbly shapes. And then I have two different prehnite towers, so you can see the difference in the appearance of it there. So this one is a lot more clear. This is a more crystalline version. This is a more amorphous version of prehnite. Okay. And then this one has got what's called rutilations in it. It's got these dark streaks or contaminants that are in it. So prehnite is good for the solar plexus, the heart, and the third eye chakra. It is a good stone for sleep and dreams. It fosters healthy connection between the heart and mind, and it's an ideal stone for forgiving oneself. Work with it when you find yourself avoiding something because it initiates acceptance. This stone helps to integrate hidden lessons in life, such as those revealed in the dream state, allowing you to feel connected to the universe. And I'm just reading information out of Crystal Basics for you guys. So prehnite, again, is sometimes called the healer stone. If you do a lot of healing work, or you're someone who tends to be sort of the rock of your friend group, prehnite might be a good stone for you to work with. Okay. Now, the next one that I will show you, I don't think I have a tumble of it. No. Okay, the next one is Tiger Eye. And let's see if that's... Yes, Tiger's Eye. Okay, Tiger's Eye here. Now, it comes in different forms. There's blue tiger's eye, which is sometimes called falcon eye. There's red tiger's eye, which is sometimes called dragon's eye. But this is the traditional kind of golden brown tiger eye. Okay, this is good for the solar plexus and the third eye chakra. It's a trigonal system. It's a silicon dioxide with crocidolite in it, which is a sodium iron silicon complex. Tiger's Eye is a stone of balance and harmony. It helps us to make healthy decisions by weighing the options carefully, and it bolsters courage and assuages doubts. It promotes truth and justice and draws prosperity and abundance. So who doesn't need more of that? So that is one of my tiger's eyes there. And I've got a tiger's eye ring as well. Okay. So there's that. Now, let's see. Another one that's pretty easy to come by is obsidian. So these are 2 obsidian towers. This one actually has the chakra symbols on it. But so these are obsidian towers. So there's different forms of obsidian as well. There's rainbow obsidian. There's Apache tears, which is the amorphous form of it. That looks like globs in Natural Matrix. There's mahogany obsidian. Obsidian is an igneous rock. It's basically volcanic glass. It dries very fast. Obsidian catalyzes self-awareness by reflecting the contents of the subconscious mind. It helps us overcome grief, fear, and addiction, and depression. It is a tool of illumination. It brings light to the darkened recesses of the subconscious. It represents death, rebirth, and initiation. And sharpened piece can be used to cut cords and remove negative attachments and energies from the aura. It is strongly protective and can shield sensitive people from negative energies and entities. And I actually have, I'll get it out if I can here. Well, I can't get it out very easily. I have an athame that has an obsidian blade in it. So anyway, so yeah, obsidian. Obsidian is a really good crystal to have. It has a lot of positive uses. So I have 2 crystal obsidian towers. Okay, let's see. The next one that I will show you is, oh, I forgot to show this. This is an amethyst pendulum that I have. I got from my friend Becky Epp. She made this pendulum, so I love this one. One of my favorite pendulums to work with. Forgot to show that when I was showing the amethyst. Now, another one that I like is ruby and fuchsite. So fuchsite and ruby often come together. This is a pendulum that I have that's made out of that. It's good for the heart chakra. Because it is a member, the fuchsite is a member of the mica family. It helps support healing. It is confers flexibility and resilience. It is playful and inspires joy. It decreases mental chatter and opens the floodgates of creativity, innovation, and freedom. And the green aligns it with mental and physical, aligns the mental and physical bodies, and encourages us to see the big picture and helping us to see setbacks as spiritual lessons. So this is a ruby and fuchsite pendulum that I have. Okay. Now, another stone that is fairly easy to come up with is dumortierite. Dumortierite, and this is a little dumortierite tumble, okay? It is a silicon tetraoxide with aluminum and boron in it. And it is good for the throat and third eye chakra because of its color. And it is good for offering resolution, commitment, and responsibility when treating addiction and obsession. It boosts confidence. It is a mental healer and brings clarity and focus. It is a premier stone of patience and helps you embrace stillness and facilitates meditation. So it's good for your psychic development and past life recall. So dumortierite is a good stone, kind of a good all-purpose stone. Now, let's see. Did I put a... I thought I put a piece over here. Oh, here it is. Okay. A stone that reminds me of dumortierite is sodalite. And sodalite is also blue. It is good for the throat and third eye chakra. And it is good for people who are writers or students that are studying or whatever. This is a piece of raw sodalite. And I kept a bowl of this when I was working on my book, and I would just kind of run my fingers through it to kind of, you know, give me something to focus on as I was getting if I would get stuck on the book. It is purifying for the mental body. It is a window into the subconscious and initiates the pursuit of understanding of personal truth. It helps you to freely express your personality. It is good for intuition and psychic development. It is shifts your awareness to the present moment and sets the stage for the authentic spiritual practice and personal development. So it is promotes idealism. Let me put it down here where you can see it. In pursuit of a higher truth and a state of non-judgment, is a general and reliable guide on a spiritual journey. So that is Sodalite. And like its name says, it has got sodium in it. So, all right. Let's see. Next to last here, I will share with you. Oh, well, no, not next to last. Here is a couple of other things. Here is some agate. This is what I would call a moss agate. And agate is a pretty common stone to find, but this one has a little dendritic inclusions in it. All right, and it is sometimes confused with jasper. They're used interchangeably, but moss agate is nourishing and balancing to the mind and emotions, and it curbs mood swings and assuages worry. It can help you when you feel disconnected from the natural world, and it supports the manifestation by anchoring your intention to the higher realms, from the higher realms, the material plane. So this is a moss agate tower. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this one quartz is in here. Well, I'll just go ahead and show it. But these are two what are called golden healer quartz. So these are excellent for healing work. They are the same as clear quartz, but they have iron in them. So this one has a dendritic inclusions in it that happened as the quartz was not fully solidified yet. It got the iron inclusions in it. And then this just has iron throughout it. So these are clear quartz, but they're called golden healers because they have the protective, iron has protective qualities to it. So they have all of the same properties of quartz with the addition of the healing aspect of the iron inclusions. All right. Then next to, well, I've got a piece of selenite, which I showed you here. Selenite is gypsum. All right. Sheetrock, but it's just in a different form. Selenite is good for emotional release and balance. It's a great cleansing and charging stone. People will often use selenite plates or selenite wands or selenite tabs for cleansing and charging things. It actively opens the crown chakra and it aligns it with higher transpersonal chakras. Facilitates contact with the higher self, and it enhances meditation and catalyzes psychic development. And it is a great energy cleanser. So that's why it's so useful for charging and cleansing. And it is pretty readily available. I mean, you can even find selenite at like TJ Maxx. You can find it there. Okay. So, all right. Then let's see. The next to the last piece that I will show is this piece. This is my baby. This is my ocean jasper tower. And I got really super obsessed with ocean jasper for some reason. Ocean jasper only comes from Madagascar. It was initially found along the beaches where it had washed out of a vein. But now they have a couple of vein mines over there where you can purchase ocean jasper. If it's called veinless ocean jasper, that means it came from the beaches. And then if it's 8th vein or whatever, or old vein, that's the mines. So this is a piece of ocean jasper. All right. And this is my pride and joy. I love this thing. This is what started my obsession with towers. And one nice tip about gems or crystals, if you touch them to your cheek, they are very cold. They're like icy cold if you touch them to your cheek. This one is very cold, so on a hot day, It's nice. But anyway, so this is my ocean jasper tower. It's also sometimes called chalcedony or chalcedony. It is a silicon dioxide also, but it's a trigonal system. But ocean jasper is good for the root, solar plexus, heart, and throat chakra. It helps us examine the inner tides of our emotions. Provides soothing for turbulent emotions and leads you to stillness and peace. It also helps you express repressed emotions and promotes understanding, cooperation, empathy, and kindness, which is why I wanted it. Because I need to work on my understanding of people that I don't necessarily... I get impatient with some people, and I need to learn to be more understanding. So I thought ocean jasper might be a good stone for me to work with. It encourages a state of surrender and facilitates meditation and provides deep attunement with the rhythms and tides of life. And it's a gemstone that connects to the divine feminine and helps heal and provide balance at the community level. So, yeah, so this is my ocean jasper tower. And she's pretty. I love her. Okay, my last stone that I will share with you today is another personal favorite. And I have others, but I'm not going to show everything today because I don't want this video to get too long. But there will be more. And that is, I've got several different examples of it here, is labradorite. So labradorite is known for this flash. And I don't know if you can see it, if I can fix it where the light will cause it to flash. When you look, there you go. That flash that happens there, that iridescence, that's actually called labradorescence, okay? That labradorescence is because of the way the crystals grow, and it was first seen in labradorite. So this is a labradorite palm stone and a purple labradorite tower. Then I also have this really beautiful, very flashy labradorite pillow, basically, here. You can see the flash there. And then I also have a labradorite pendulum. Okay, so I love some labradorite. So labradorite is triclinic, and it has sodium, calcium, aluminum, silicon, and oxygen in it. It strengthens visionary skills and enhances imagination. It's helpful also for the overactive imagination or excessive daydreaming, as it focuses the imagination into concrete goals and counteracts escapism. It's an effective stone for overcoming extreme introversion and depression. Its spectral colors, labradorescence, echoes its effect in the energy field. It strengthens and brightens the aura, repairing any tears, leaks, or attachments. It strengthens the boundaries of the auric field, and it's great for psychic protection. It helps maintain a connection to our divine purpose, especially through the feedback of our inner guides and our innate psychic talents. So there is labradorite. That's one of my favorites also. Oh, and here's another example of labradorite. This is a labradorite bowl that Joel gave me, that it goes with. And I didn't talk about this stone, so I guess I should. So I thought I was done, but here's one that I want to one more that I want to share. Let me see if it's in here. Oh, no. It's not in here. Well, this is Septarian stone, and Septarian stone is actually 3 different stones together. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. Okay. And in fact, next week I am going with my friends Rachel and Melissa out to Oklahoma to dig hourglass selenite. So here it is, Septarian. Septarian is calcite and aragonite in clay with an ironstone matrix. It is good for the root, sacral, and solar plexus chakras and heart. It is improving confidence and self-esteem, bolsters emotional strength, boosts communications and charisma, and helps reprogram the mind for positive change. Isn't that pretty? distills wisdom, sensitivity, empathy, and power from experiences, and enables perception of higher truth and holds space for self and others during transformational experiences. So this was actually a gift from Joel as well. He and he actually had the bowl for himself, and then he's like, well, I think they need to stay together because they fit together so nicely. But anyway, so that is a little bit of my crystal collection. Next, I'll just show you a couple of other books that I recommend as good resources, and then we'll finish up. As you can see, I have quite a stack of books here. I get hyper-focused on things and want to learn as much as possible about them, which means I want to get all the books about them. So I've already shared with you the Nicholas Pearson Crystal Basics books, and then the Crystal Messengers books by Jules Kincaid. Okay. Again, these are available if you go to his Instagram. This is available on their Etsy shop, Crystal Scene. And if I remember, I'll try to link all that down below so that you can go and find that. And I'll also link the podcast that I recommended. The next 3 books are the Crystal Bible. The Crystal Bibles 1, 2, and 3. Okay. These are, what I like about these particular books is, first of all, they're easy to carry, but second of all, they talk about the commonality of the stone and where they're from, so you can kind of make more informed choices about where you buy your stones from. So they'll have a section on the rarity, and they'll have a section on where they're found. So you can kind of make decisions. And it also gives you an idea of cost. Like if it says it's a common stone and somebody's trying to charge you a lot of money for it, maybe that's not such a good thing. The next one is a book that's very, very sciencey. It has no metaphysical information in it, but it has a lot of good science in it, which I love. And that is Gemstones of the World. Gemstones of the World, I actually got at a local metaphysical shop. But what it does is it goes into like the crystal structure of the stone and all of its chemical properties here, and then it has examples, visual examples of all of them. So that's if you are a science nerd like I am, that is a great book to have also. And then it also has some tips on stone care in terms of like some of the stones that are that can be that don't need to be gotten wet or whatever. The only thing about this book is it organizes them by chemical structure, so it's a little hard to find things just flipping through. But it's a fun book if you like science. Another book by Nicholas Pearson that I just got, I haven't really dug into it much, but from what I've looked at it, is it's a very good resource guide for particular stones. It's called Stones of the Goddess. And it looks at stones related to the divine feminine and how they were used in historical ways by matriarchal societies and by goddess-focused rituals and things like that. So it's also got a catalog in it, but it's organized slightly differently than the other ones. And also it's got things like amber and fossils and coral and things like that would not be in some crystal books. So also really beautiful pictures in it and lots of good information. So like there, for example, is a ocean jasper, piece of ocean jasper. So anyway, yeah, so this is a really good resource. Also, again, available from him on his website. Not sponsored, just a friend. Then another book that I really think is a great resource that has a ton of information in it is the Book of Stones. This is 2 authors. They each write a section about each stone, so it's very comprehensive. It has lots of cool color pictures in it. It has, again, what I like about it is it has keywords. So if you're looking for a particular thing to use for a particular issue, like for example, mental discipline, then demorturite would be a good choice, it says. So this is has a lot of information in it too, with really nice pictures. And then it also has a pocket version as well that you can carry with you, like if you're going to a show or something like that. You can carry the Book of Stones with you, the small version. Then this is not per se a rock book, but this is a good book, I think, to have because it has a whole section on the mineral kingdom, and that is the Complete Book of Correspondences, which I love a good reference book. I just got this book last night at the Oddities Expo, but I had been eyeing it up for quite a while. So it is a great encyclopedia of literally just tables of correspondences. It has things broken down. So like, for example, here is a table for obsidian and moss agate and moonstone and moldavite and all those things. No pictures though here, so there's no pictures in here, just tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of charts and correspondences and overlap, and just, yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, you need this book. Then the last book that I will show you is an older book, but it came highly recommended from several people that I know, and that is Love is in the Earth. This is an encyclopedic amount of knowledge about different stones, and there are pages and pages just about different types of quartz and opals and different things like that. And this is no pictures, but a ton of information. Love is in the Earth. And then if you want the pictures, you can get the Love is in the Earth Mineral Pictorial. Okay. And it has nothing but just tons and tons of color photographs. And then if you're interested in doing crystal gridding and healing work with the crystals, like if you're a Reiki practitioner or an angelic healing practitioner or anything like that, this book has tons and tons of grids in it. So different ways to lay the stones out for healing purposes and things like that. And it tells you kind of what stones to use and such like. So tons and tons of information. These three all go together. These are kind of a little bit harder to find, but I did manage to find them actually through used bookstores, either on eBay or through some used book stores, and they were in great shape. I mean, they looked basically brand new when I got them. So yeah, so those are my suggested resources. There are many others out there that you could certainly get. These are just the ones I happen to have because they came recommended from people that I trust, that I know have a pretty deep knowledge of crystals. So anyway, so there you go. So that's a little bit about my crystal collection. You know, take it for however you take, whatever works for you from that, and, you know, leave the rest, I suppose, because not everybody has the same relationship with their stones that I do. So, but anyway, I hope that you found that useful and interesting, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace out, y'all. Bye.
I'll open up the next tank.